Okay, so I'm reviewing Darren Hayes' fourth and currently final solo album called Secret Codes and Battleships, released in 2011. Now, this title might not be around for much longer because only a couple of days ago Darren released a new song that I will discuss in this video as well. So, it's been just over 10 years since this album came out, and now we have one new single from Darren Hayes. So the brand new single from Darren Hayes is called Let's Try Being in Love, which is another love song. I've listened to it a few times now. It's I guess the themes of the song is I guess trying to be in love with someone that you don't know that well and just seeing how it will go. And it's a catchy song. It's got a lot of it's a very vibrant song. It's definitely pretty different to a lot of stuff that's come out last year. It's got an 80s vibe too. It's got this this really nice synth work that kind of like a down crescendo of like a it's a really glamorous sounding track. It's a very, as I was saying, a lot of 80s nostalgia in this track, but it also sounds completely new and fresh as well. It sounds like something that could only really be produced today, and it sounds really crisp, really clear. It's great hearing Darren's voice again. Anyway, enough about the song. I'll talk about it later on if he releases a new album, which I'm pretty sure he will. But let me talk about this album. So this album is only half as long, probably even less than half as long as his previous album, This Delicate Thing That We Made, which was almost 2 hours long. This clocks in at 47 minutes, and I think it has 11 songs, so it's a lot shorter. So I'm not sure if it's as good as This Delicate Thing We've Made because of just the quantity of songs that were on that album and how many of them were good. But the majority of songs on this album are very solid, and they're very listenable and very memorable. And so that's the main weakness of this album. It doesn't have as much material as the last one, but you don't need 25 songs in every album. That's a colossal effort in them. And it's a great effort from Darren Hayes for even doing that at all. And 11 songs is definitely still quite a bit to get through, and they are all very good in their own way, so let's start. So the first song on this album is Taken by the Sea, which is another nice opener from Darren. It doesn't really have the same, creeping atmosphere that that Fear of Falling Under had on Delicate Thing That We Made. This one starts very fast, doesn't really have that much of an intro, but it's a very nice song. It's a pretty atmospheric song. Definitely makes you feel nice. I've listened to it a couple of times, but I still haven't really been able to put my finger on just what it's about. I'm pretty sure it's just about another love song and how he feels like his emotions are taking him out to sea, kind of like he's being taken by the sea of his emotions, being overwhelmed by emotion, and something like that. I'll probably talk about the song a little bit more later on. But it's a really good opening song, and it is definitely very listenable. The second song is called Don't Give Up, which is another song about a relationship. Pretty sure that goes between Darren and maybe a girl that he liked in the past before he came out, or maybe a gay partner, I'm not sure. But I think the song is about probably after a breakup, but telling him that there's no hard feelings. Don't give up. Keep on looking for your soulmate, I guess. And it does mention it mentions our secret codes and battleships in the lyrics, which is what the album is named after. It's kind of funny trend actually. I mean, the second song of The Tension and the Spark had them saying the tension and the spark in it, though This Delicate Thing That We Made had no mention of the title, but this one does. So that's I'm not sure that's a coincidence, but it's a nice touch. Nearly Love and Blackout the Sun are also two pretty solid songs. They're both just two love songs, and they're alright. But then we get to Talk Talk Talk, which was definitely one of the biggest hits of the album, and it's basically about Darren trying to get in contact with somebody that he hasn't seen for a while, and it's catchy. It has a nice chorus, has a nice hook. Overall, a pretty memorable song. We get the song "Hurt," which is an interesting song. Definitely the song I've thought about most on this album, and it's basically about Darren singing about how, to maybe think twice before you get in a relationship with him, because he's a complicated man, and that you're probably better off if you're not his lover, because I guess because he's hurt people in the past. It's a bit of a tender song, maybe slightly regretful. Overall, a complex song, probably definitely a standout on the album. And then we get Roses, which is probably my favourite track on the entire album. The song is basically about the impermanence of time, of how your days are numbered, life eventually ends, so make the best of what you have and make the most of your life, because you can't rewind time, and just cherish every moment and make things right before you grow old and die. So yeah, another poignant song, and definitely probably a highlight of the entire album. And then there's Darren's second of two hits on this album, which is "Stupid Mistake." It's a bit more simpler compared to some of the other songs that I previously talked about. It's just basically him singing about him making stupid mistakes. Kind of another song, a little bit about regret, and it's also a catchy song. Though I do think "Talk Talk Talk" is a little bit more catchy than this one. She said probably. It's probably maybe one of the weaker songs on this album, but it still was a hit, so gotta give credit to that, I guess. There's actually another single on this album that didn't actually make it on the final album. It's called "Wrecking Ball." So nothing to do with the Miley Cyrus song. This song came out 2 years before the Miley Cyrus song, but it's another good song. It's reasonably solid. It's pretty catchy, but I think I can see why Darren didn't want to put this on the final album. It definitely would have been one of the weaker tracks, so maybe it was a good idea to keep this one out. But it's on Spotify, so that's how I discovered it, and so if you want to listen to it, and you can see for yourself. Now there's another single. It's not related to this album, but I kind of wanted to touch upon it as well, which is "Me, Myself and I," that was actually released for this delicate thing that we made. This is a really catchy song. It is really funky. It's really upbeat. It's full of energy. It's really sparky, and it's quite an earworm, really, and it's it's one of Darren's strongest songs that weren't from Savage Garden and were from the original Spin album. And I overall think it is a really good single that is definitely worth listening to, and it was definitely overlooked. I don't think this really became a hit that much, and which is a shame, because it's a really good song. So now we're at the final two songs, which is second last is "Cruel Cruel World," which is a pretty touching song. It's about, say, Darren's partner. Well, I guess when Darren kind of falls into despair sometimes and maybe loses a bit of hope, his partner just kind of lifting him up out of that hole and getting him through the cruel, cruel world, as what it's titled. It's a nice song. It's memorable, and it's definitely a good one. And now we get to the final closer track, which is the Siren's Call. It's just a nice atmospheric track with some choir chanting and a really nice rhythm, a really nice melody with violins, and it's overall just a really nice, relaxing track to close off the entire album. So, what's my final verdict of this album? Well, I would have to say that this is a very solid album. It's definitely a banger, that's for sure. A lot of real good songs on here. I don't think it's better than This Delicate Thing that we've made. I do think that that album is slightly superior to this one, and just its sheer quantity of songs and really good lyrical work on most of the tracks. And I'm not saying that this album is any worse, or if it's bad. It's just a slight step down from the previous. It is, I do think it's better than The Tension and The Spark, though I don't think it's better than Spin. I do think that Spin and This Delicate Thing that we made were definitely the two strongest Darren Hayes albums, and I think The Tension and The Spark was the weakest. And this sits somewhere in the middle of all that. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. It's very solid, definitely worth listening to. I am also eager, if Darren Hayes is releasing a new album along with this new single. It's pretty likely. I do think a new album will come out because of this. And when it comes out, I'll be sure to give it a few listens and provide a in-depth review about it. So I'll see you then, and as always, take care.